people in groups are to be feared, and that arguing with others is folly, and the knowledge of one generation cannot be passed down to the next. Those may seem cynical sentiments, but there are certain truths you keep inside you and do not defend, lest you cheapen and then lose them altogether. Those truths have less to do with the dead than the awareness that we are no different from them, that they are still with us, and we are still with them, and there is no afterlife, but only one life, a continuum in which all time occurs at once, like a dream inside the mind of God. Why should an old man thrice widowed dwell on things that are not demonstrable and have nothing to do with a reasonable view of the world? Because only yesterday, on a broken sidewalk in a shabby neighborhood at the bottom of St. Claude Avenue in the lower 9th Ward of St. Bernard Parish, under a colonnade that was still twisted out of shape by Katrina, across from a liquor store with barred windows that stood under a live oak probably 200 years old, I saw a platoon of Confederate infantry march out of a field to the tune of Darling Nellie Gray and disappear through the wall of a gutted building and not exit on the other side. The man I came to see was Fat Tony Nemo, also known as Tony the Nose, Tony Squid, or Tony Nineball, the latter not because he was a pool shark, but because he packed a 9-ball into a bartender's mouth with the butt of a pool cue. Of course, that was during his earlier incarnation when he was a collector for Didoni Giacano, and the two of them used to drive around New Orleans in Dee Dee's caddy convertible, terrifying whoever couldn't make the weekly vig, a blood-stained baseball bat propped up in the back seat. Currently, Fat Tony was involved in politics and narcotics and porn and casinos and Hollywood movies and the concrete business. He had also laundered money for the triads in Hong Kong and helped Somoza's greaseballs introduce crack cocaine to America's inner cities. In terms of territory, he had fingers in pies all over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. If he had any sense of morality or fear about a judgment down the track, I never saw it. So why would a semi-retired sheriff's detective from Iberia Parish want to make a social call on a psychopath like Tony Squid? Simple. Most investigative cops, often without knowing who Niccolo Machiavelli was, adhere to his admonition to keep your friends close but your enemies closer. Less simple is the fact that we share much of the same culture as the lowlifes, and we are more alike than different, and the information they give us is indispensable. Fat Tony was sitting in a swivel chair behind his desk when I entered his office. No, that's not correct. Tony didn't sit. He piled himself into a chair on a couch like a gelatinous heap of whale sperm thrown on a beach, except he was wearing a blue suit with a red boutonniere in the lapel. A sword with a scrolled brass guard and a plain metal scabbard lay across his ink pad.
"I'm glad you could come, Dave. You never disappoint. That's why I like you," he wheezed.
"What's the haps, Tony?"
"I'm on an oxygen bottle. I'm scheduled for a colostomy. I couldn't get laid in a whorehouse that has an ATM. My wife tells me I got a serious case of Gapo. Otherwise, I'm doing great. What kind of question is that?"
He had to catch his breath before he could continue.
"Want a drink?"
"No, thanks. What's Gapo?"
"Gorilla armpit odor. You still on the wagon?"
"I'm still in AA, if that's what you mean."
"The same thing, right?"
"No."
"Whatever. Take Cleet Purcell to a meeting with you."
"What's Cleet done?"
"What hasn't he done? He's a fucking cancer on the whole city. He should have a steel codpiece locked on his body so he can't reproduce."
"How can I help you, Tony?"
"Maybe I can help you. I heard about your wife."
"I appreciate your concern. I need to get back to New Iberia."
"She got killed in an accident?"
I nodded.
"What, about 3 months ago?"
2 years. She was T-boned by a guy in a pickup. I'd rather talk about something else. He handed me the sword.
"I got this at a flea market in